Hello and welcome to News Central TV. I am Adebola Adedugba. The headlines. Two students of Nasarawa State University killed, 23 others injured during food stampede. United Nations says at least 65 migrant bodies found in Libya mass grave. Speaker of South Africa's parliament, who is facing graft allegations, says jail will threaten her health and life as a senior citizen. Details shortly. We begin the news at this hour in West Africa, where two female students of the Nasarawa State University, Keffi, reportedly died and 23 others injured during a stampede that occurred at the university's convocation square on Friday morning. The convocation square, a city round gathered, was the venue for the distribution of bags of rice as palliatives to the students by Nasarawa state government aimed at reducing their sufferings. Governor Abdullahi Sule recently distributed two 7.5 kilograms bags of rice and 5,000 naira to each student of the Federal University of Lafia, Isa Mustafa Agwai Polytechnic, Lafia, and the College of Education, Akwanga. Confirming the tragic incident, the national president of the Nasarawa State Students Association, Yunusu Baduku, said most of the students involved in the stampede were rushed to hospitals in the area for medical attention. In the meantime, the 15 students abducted at the Quranic school in Sokoto State have regained their freedom. The students were kidnapped at Gidan Bakuso village in Gada local government area while running into their rooms to escape attack on the community 2 weeks ago. The victims were abducted hours before the graduation ceremony of the state's community guard corps created to fight banditry. The proprietor of the Tisangaya school in Gida Bakuso, Liman Abubakar, had told newsmen that bandits invaded the community, shot one person, and abducted a woman. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has assured the Nigerian military that the FCT administration will be providing drones for security surveillance of the entire capital. And this was during the visit by the Chief of Defense Staff, who had informed the Minister of the setup of a rapid response squad expected to support the police in responding to insecurity challenges. Amadine Oyi has details.
The visit to the Federal Capital Territory Administration was led by the Chief of Defense Staff. The Defense Chief appealed for the support of citizens and commended Nigerians for standing by the military following the murder of 17 military officers in Delta State.
The recent unfortunate incident where I lost 17 men in Delta State, I've seen words of consolation from Nigerians all over because of the heinous crimes that were committed, because of the way it was even done.
He says that the Defense Headquarters has set up a rapid response squad expected to partner with the police to improve the security situation in the federal capital. The minister commended this effort, assuring that the FCT will support the military and provide drones for their operations.
Within Abuja, we know we have this issue of one chance and few kidnappings here and there. We are working together with the police, but we know we need your support. On our own, even before now, since last year, we have set up a committee to look at how do we respond to these issues. One, we are not the first responders. So firstly is to support the police in achieving the mandate, whatever they are doing. And in doing that, we are building up a rapid response team that will involve ground troops and air.
We have provided engaging security to buy or purchase drones so that to help the security agencies in trying to reduce the level of crime in FCT.
The minister also pledged to stand by the military and ensure their problems with logistics and others are resolved.
I know how many soldiers you've lost in terms of fighting Boko Haram, bandits, and other kind of crime. So you require support in all ramifications. You require support. And like I said to you, whatever thing you think FCT can do, for you, don't hesitate. to tell us, I'll do it for you.
He assured the defense headquarters that unresolved issues over certification of military lands in Abuja will be resolved. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
Nigeria's electoral body has commiserated with the Nigerian army military over the murder of several personnel in Okwama, Delta State. This was during the Inter-Agency Consultative Forum with security agencies in Abuja, where the body outlined plans for the upcoming Edo and Ondo governorship polls. Amadin Uyi reports.
It was an inter-agency consultative meeting between Nigeria's electoral body and security agencies. The chairman of the body, before giving an update to those in attendance of preparations by the body for the upcoming governorship polls in Edo and Ondo states, commiserated with the Nigerian military over the brutal killings of senior police officers in Delta State.
The recent gruesome killing of officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army on a peace mission in Delta State is condemnable. We are confident that the ongoing investigation will lead to the speedy arrest and prosecution of the perpetrators of the heinous crime. On behalf of the Independent National Electoral Commission, I extend our condolence to the Army and the armed forces in particular, as well as other security, intelligence, and law enforcement agencies, all other members of excess, and families of the fallen heroes for the colossal loss.
The Nigeria Police Force, during its own review, says that successes achieved in the last obstacle polls will be replicated.
It could be recalled that during the last ISIS meeting, the IG promised to deploy massively both human and material assets of the police to ensure a hitch-free election. And I think to a large extent that promise has been fulfilled. Now, leveraging on the positive outcome of the elections we have had so far, the police and other security agencies are ready to replicate this success story in the coming off-cycle governorship elections in Edo and Ondo states.
The police representative says that the Nigeria Police Force is ready for the Ondo and Edo state governorship elections.
We have been interfacing with the CPs in the two commands. We have identified all the flashpoints, and we have continued to work on the threat profile of the two states to ensure that when we will deploy in line with what is required to ensure hitch-free election in the two states.
Nigeria's electoral body also assures security agencies that its engagement will continue till the upcoming off-cycle governorship polls. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
Muslim faithfuls in Kaduna State have expressed worry over the current heat wave being experienced in the state, coupled with insecurity situation which is depriving farmers from going to their farms, saying they are taking their toll on the ongoing Ramadan fast. Some of them spoke to News Central after the weekly Friday prayers in the state capital, saying they are making the fasting activities more difficult. Marvelous Obamanu is in Kaduna State and tells us more.
The monthly Ramadan fast is special for Muslim faithful all over the world, as it presents an opportunity to make supplications to God. It is also a time to give our alms to those in need, despite the fact that the current economic situation in Kaduna State is making survival more difficult.
It is 2 weeks into the month of Ramadan, and things are becoming increasingly expensive in the market. The major food items needed for the fast are soaring every day. Talk about the weather conditions, the sun is hot. But despite these challenges, Muslim faithfuls here in Kaduna State are showing uncommon resilience, never to allow the cost of food items or the challenges to deter them from fasting.
The fasting is actually moving smoothly, though the weather and the climatic condition actually is not friendly. But by the grace of God, we are moving, and today I think we are almost 2 weeks out of the fasting.
If you check like Palestine now, what can you say about them? Them, they are fighting wars. They have been in an empty stomach for like 2 months or 3 months now, and they are still fasting.
People cannot afford to get how to break the fast and how to even make the iftar, which is very, very bad. In the month of Ramadan like this, it's very, very bad.
After having a chat with some Muslim faithful shortly after their weekly prayers, News Central visited one of the markets in Kaduna State to get a pulse of customers and sellers.
If it is before, you see some people doing fasting during Ramadan season, you see people sharing rice, sharing maize, sharing guinea corn, but now you will not see, because even you that you're trying to share, have you finished feeding yourself?
You buy something 15 naira today, you come, you buy it 200 naira. If you talk, they will tell you that the dollar is at the higher rate. I don't know. Like this, our local food that they will produce, I don't know if it is the problem of dollar. I don't know.
We miss Jonathan, sir. We miss Jonathan. I swear to God. Time of Jonathan, bag of rice, 8,000 naira. But now, almost 60. That is how they used to buy bag of rice. Everything costs. In time of our breaking of fasting now, I swear to God, before I go buy pure water set on to almost 30 naira one.
Residents have called on government to look into the cost of fertilizer and other chemicals used in farming, which is responsible for the current situation. In Kaduna for News Central, I am Marvelous Oboman.
President of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Daniel Oko, has urged the government of Plateau State to engage in programs that will enthrone peace and security to the state. The CAN president was speaking during his visit to victims of the Christmas Eve attack on Boko's local government area of Plateau State. Chizoba Anyonwe has details.
This is what lunchtime looks like in the internally displaced persons camps. It is on this premise that Christians in Plateau State have been urged to remain committed to programs of peace building, even in the face of violent attacks being recorded in many parts of the country. Leader of the Christian Association of Nigeria said the church is worried, looking at the conditions faced by the internally displaced persons on the aftermath of crisis.
We have come to stand in solidarity with the people of Boko's local government and the people of Plateau State to pray with them and to bring our humble supplies to the people in this camp and to also give hope to our people.
Chairman of Boko's local council area says his people are encouraged by the show of love from the public.
The local government, in conjunction with the state and the federal government, have put in place a roadmap to see that roofing materials are provided so that those houses that were burned down are re-roofed for the IDPs to go back to their place of abode.
Earlier, at a courtesy call on the governor, CAN was urged not to relent in her efforts for national discourse as Nigeria faces series of insecurities.
If there was a time that the nation needs moral direction, it's now. And I believe that CAN should be able to be in the vanguard of that and speak up for the vulnerable, speak up for the disadvantaged, speak up for the oppressed, and insist that the right things be done in the right way at the right time.
As much as this goodwill is appreciated, priority need for these internally displaced persons here is to return to their ancestral homes to begin their normal lives again, if only their security can be guaranteed. In Boko's local council area of Plateau State for News Central, Chizoba Anyonwe.
You're watching News Central now. Let's take a short break. Stay with us. Thank you for staying tuned. Governor Alex Oti has been commended for signing the Abia State of Nigeria Governors and Deputy Governors Pension Repeal Bill of 2024 into law. Chinwe Ugele has details.
First, the House of Assembly passed the bill to repeal the Abia State of Nigeria Law No. 4, 2001, meant to provide for the grant and pension to the governor and deputy governor of Abia State. 2 days later, Governor Alex Oti appended his signature to the bill, thereby making the pension law useless.
Government is not about self-interest. It's actually self-interest that destroys governments. One of the major problems that governments face is reading in cost of governance.
The abolished law was to come into force from June 12, 2001. The said law also provided that the pensions for the ex-governors and their deputies would be funded from the Consolidated Revenue Fund. The entitlements of the former governors include pension for life at a rate equivalent to the salary of the incumbent governor, an official car with a police driver, 2 state security service agents. He is also to receive allowances for a cook, steward, gardener, and driver subject to the government review and provision of medical attention for him. An ex-deputy governor is also entitled to life pension with similar provisions as for the governor. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who was in Abia State for an event on Friday, also commended the governor for revoking such entitlement.
And you said to me that the pension scheme for former governors here is atrocious. It's like daylight robbery because it allows them to have a house in Abuja and elsewhere and cut away with whatever they feel like cutting away. And yet, the pension for ordinary people from 1914 are unpaid. What sort of leadership is that? And you came and you say there will be an end to that rascality.
Some citizens condemn such law for former governors and their deputies.
Get their gratuity, talk more of pension. So, and then you know how it is with the politicians or the elite class. They always amass enough wealth for themselves.
Because they have been a governor, they have taken a lot before now. So for me, I'm in support of the new law for them not to take anything as pension.
However, the repealed law No. 4 had provided that the only time a former governor or deputy governor was not entitled for the pension was when such occupied an elective office in Nigeria. In Omahefo News Central, Chinwe Ugeli.
The River State House of Assembly has vetoed Governor Siminalayi Fubara over the River State House of Assembly Service Commission law. The lawmakers, who are loyal to the immediate past governor of the state and minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, took the decision on Friday after convening an impromptu sitting. The development is the second after the House last January overruled Governor Fubara over 4 bills it passed into law following the governor's refusal to assent to them. During the sitting, the Speaker, Martins Amewule, read 4 letters addressed to him by the governor, wherein he declined his assent to the 4 new bills which were earlier being sent to him for assent. And to unpack these, I'm joined live on the news by Biokpo Awara, former AAC governorship candidate for River State. Good morning. Glad to have you join me.
Good morning, my sister. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right. Share with me your thoughts on the move by the River State House of Assembly. Is this indicative of a power struggle between the governor and the legislature?
It's a pity that we find ourselves in this kind of situation. I feel so sad that the people that are elected to represent people are representing individuals, representing themselves, that they want to make a law that touches the foundation of the people they tend to represent. You know, in Lagos State, I think 2003, when similar thing happened, the Supreme Court, in a final decision, made a decision that says that, yes, the House of Assembly has powers to make law about local government, but the laws that they make will not be effective on the people that have been sworn in already. So making a law to extend the tenure of local government chairman is even an aberration, because these people, when they came into office, took an oath of office that they will stay for 3 years. So coming to make a law to extend their tenure, you are calling for anarchy. Another is that they have not sent this to the governor. What they sent to the governor before this time was different. Now, they amended it after 2 months again to make these people to stay in office. You have not sent to this same thing to the governor. You're overriding his own assent. That is against the constitution, against the law. So I think their act is just to fulfill the desires of a man that is losing, to pamper somebody that has lost the grip of River State. And I feel for the speaker, who has been known for supporting things that are not right. Yeah, so I think it's not called for. It's not called for at this moment. These people have spent their years in office. They are due to go. I'll pray the governor to be bold enough, take decision as the governor, and conduct a fresh election. Call for fresh election. And I think it will be, when they see the people wanting to come and conduct election, all this their nonsense will be put to silence.
But when it comes to separation of powers, do you think the governor's veto, violates separation of powers between the legislature and then the executive branch of government?
Making a law is different from exercising your right as on separation of powers. You are making a law to make the people to have benefit, to benefit from it, not to suffer from it. So at this point, we are not looking at separation of powers. We are not looking at what the governor can do, what the assembly can do. What we are looking at presently is what will benefit Rivers people, not the governor being strangled. As if they are doing everything to make sure that the governor failed. And his failure is not for him to suffer. His failure is for Rivers people to suffer. So if they want Rivers people to suffer, and if they want to go back to their homes and sleep well, they should have a rethink. They should have a rethink. Because they are calling for things that are not necessary to happen. And I hope the security agencies are watching. They should advise, the National Security Advisor should advise the president rightly, because it will finally come to a point, if we don't take our time, that the president will then call them for another peace pact again, or peace meeting, I don't know what to call it, because the big man in Abuja is busy doing everything to make sure that the governor fails.
How do you think this would impact the political climate in Rivers State?
The thing is that if these people, if a new election is to be conducted, the minister of FCT will say, my structure. Once this local government election is conducted, it will be the chairman that the governor will bring that will be at the local government. And it has already changed the structure of the political structure of the state, because local government chairmen are the closest to the people, and the people that will vote are the people at the locals. So even as a governor, you make a decision, it is the local government chairman that will enforce it, the councillors that will enforce it at their different constituencies. So the FCT minister knows that if this local government election is conducted and the governor put in his own people, the structure is gone. Just like Amechi. When Amechi left office and he put in local government chairman, when Wike came, he removed them, brought in his people, and the structure began to grow. Now he knows that what it means for you not to have the local government chairman, but it's dangerous because the governor has the powers. Even if he says you extend them to stop the local government funding, and the people will suffer. My own thing is that this whole thing will affect the people who seems to represent. So I think it will change the political dynamics if this local government election is conducted. And that's what the FCT minister is afraid of. You know, you can exercise all these things because he exercised all these things because he was a governor and enjoyed it. He knows what the governor of Rivers State can do. He knows the office of
talking about
governor
local
of Rivers State.
government elections, you've already cited in clear terms the fragile nature in terms of politics there in Rivers State. How do you think violence can be prevented with such a fragile, and intense atmosphere in Rivers State?
I think I will advise the governor to go back to the president that has signed that peace pact. Call the attention of the National Security Advisor. Call the security agencies and talk to them that danger is looming, danger is coming forth, so that they will avert it. They should advise the FCT minister to talk to Martin Samuel for us not to come into a situation where they will now be calling for emergency in Rivers State, because that is where it is gradually leading to. Grip of power is what is coming. It's the FCT minister, it's like governor. He should control the FCT people and leave Rivers State alone. It's enough of this, please.
All right, thank you so much for your time. On the news, Engineer Biokpo Awara, a former AAC governorship candidate for Rivers State. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. May God bless Nigeria.
In a somber development, residents of the Ilason Jakande estate in Lekki are facing the harsh reality of losing their homes once again. Demolition leaves the displaced without shelter and brings back the haunting memories of the Morocco demolition in 1990. Nii Omoni has details.
As bulldozers tear down structures and families are forced to evacuate, the sense of déjà vu is palpable. Many here have been through these before, some more than once. For them, the traumatic experience of being displaced yet again leaves them caught in the cycle of loss and uncertainty. Amidst the rubble and chaos, stories of resilience and heartbreak emerge as residents grapple with the harsh reality of being uprooted once more.
I was very small. My mom told me about the history of Morocco, how my elder father Onai fell down from a story building when army come with their wahala. And this one again, they came again without informing us. They come suddenly, breaking house, damaged house. Even our children's school now, we don't know where we start. Food to eat now, we don't know where we start. Water things are very difficult. So they didn't see us as a human being. They see us as an animal. Are we not a human being? Are we a goat?
How many people can we reckon with this demolition that has died? And with all said and done, what have you done? Are you not Nigerians? Look at our buildings. Some were uncompleted. When we reach here, we place windows.
The echoes of the past resonate loudly as they navigate through the wreckage of their homes, left stranded and grappling with the harsh realities of starting afresh.
It's wrong. It's a shameful act. There's no two ways about it. And the whole world is seeing us, looking at us now. How do we help ourselves out? The governor has to apologize to the people that he put to shame, to the life that they have, the lives that are lost, and the people that are homeless, that are crying, looking for help through other means.
As the community mourns the loss of their once vibrant neighborhood, questions linger about the future and the fate of those who have been dealt this cruel hand.
If they want to rebuild it, they can resettle us here. Anywhere where they like, they should resettle us well. Because they may be thinking, say, they have power. The power of God is more than.
The shadows of the past looming large over Chakonde Estate in Lasan, Lekki, serves as a stark reminder of the insecurity it poses for those who call it their home. In Lagos for News Central, Ni Omani.
The Climate Action Africa has announced its upcoming forum for 2024, holding between 17th and 19th of June. The climate change experts said the forum will focus on deliberating on reducing and mitigating the effects of climate change on citizens of the continent and how Africa can reduce its current carbon emission. Amadine Uyi has more.
The effects of climate change on the African continent has been telling. Experts say it has had devastating effects on citizens, affecting the poorest of the poor.
We are all aware that Africa is disproportionately affected by climate change. To us, climate change is not a theoretical concept. It is not so many acronyms and plenty words on a document that sometimes a lot of us fail to read or even understand. But to us, it is what we experience daily.
Stakeholders say these changes have become major threats to citizens, thus the need to address its effects and consequences.
These changes in weather patterns accumulate in heat waves like that which we've experienced, increased incidences of the twin threat of flood and drought. In one area there's flood, in another area there's drought and our farmers can't farm. All of these erratic weather patterns in turn have socioeconomic effects that we are all feeling.
It's all about justice, it's all about inclusivity, it's all about transparency for us to be able to unshackle the tripartite challenges that comes with the impact of climate change, which is inequality, which is poverty, which is unemployment. These are the kind of challenges that are facing us as a result of the impact of climate change.
With this in mind, the Climate Action Africa has announced its upcoming 2024 forum holding between June the 17th to 19th in order to deliberate on proactive ways at mitigating the effects of climate change.
CAF 24 is more than just a conference. It's passion, it's an expression, and it's the action that we want to see for our continents. It's the proof that when we come together with intent, with purpose, it's the proof that when we come together with intent, with purpose, and with partnerships, we can achieve the goals that we've set for ourselves, not just in the future, but for our present.
Experts from the Climate Action Africa say the forum will provide an opportunity for stakeholders, businessmen and women, and all affected by climate change to chart a new path aimed at reducing the effects of climate change on the continent. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
World Water Day is an annual United Nations Observance Day held on 22nd of March every year to highlight the importance of fresh water. The day is used to advocate for the sustainable management of freshwater resources, with this year's theme being Water for Peace. Bettina Unweli has details.
Lagos, as a coastal state, is bordered to the south by the Atlantic Ocean. It is occupying about 180 kilometers of Nigeria's 850-kilometer coastal line. A major part of the state is an island surrounded by water. The sad reality is that the most common way of getting relatively fresh water is through street vendors selling water in containers. During the World Water Day in 2023, the Lagos Water Corporation shared that Lagos needed around 650 million gallons of water per day, but that it could only match a third of the demand.
Lagos State government should begin revamping one after the other the 48 water utilities in the state and then keep it under public control so that people of the state will begin to gradually have access to water.
Despite this unpleasant reality, a 2022 UNICEF report says that over 65% of Nigerians have access to basic drinking water supply services. This data is the reverse in some African countries. Between Papua New Guinea at 55% and Ethiopia at 50%, there are 3 other countries where more than half the population do not have access to clean water. Back in Lagos, with a constantly rising population and a poor waste disposal lifestyle, the waterways suffer huge pollutions, threatening marine lives. This has constantly attracted condemnation of authorities. The salty nature of the water in Lagos has been a challenge to potable water. Many households in the city depend on boreholes and underground wells for water supply, with the attendant risks. In some places, the sewage lines are quite close to the boreholes, very significantly increasing the danger of pollution. From the highbrow part of the city to the semi-urban areas, the story is almost the same.
When you look at this tank now, you can see the tank, that the water there, the tank is already contaminated. It's a serious pollution. The waters are not drinkable. Most of the houses in this area, up to about 100 meters to this place, the waters are not drinkable.
It's not hygienic, or at the same time, it's not ideal, and at the same time, it's very dangerous for the community. Most of this water here, we cannot drink it again because of the pollution of our petrol.
Wildlife in some parts of the continent are threatened by drought. Flooding has posed a perpetual risk to Lagos, one that is only worsened by climate change and the city's unregulated growth. In keeping with demands for rapid growth, Lagos residents have transformed the swampy wetlands around their city into sprawling developments, with a good portion of Lagos's massive urban weight being built on sandy sediments that sink over time.
When we're saying environment, we're saying our life support system. That's exactly what it is. And then to bring it home even closer, it's not just my life support system. It's not just your life support system. It's our children's life support system.
Advanced climes have developed means of recycling water in order to serve 2 purposes: improve access to clean water and also save the atmosphere from the harsh effects of climate change. This may no longer be seen as luxury, but an emergency for any society with eyes on realistic development. Water can create peace or spark conflict, and the Sustainable Development Goals Initiative of the United Nations seem to be quite aware of this. When water is scarce or polluted, or when people have unequal or no access, tensions can arise between communities and countries. As climate change impacts increase and populations grow, there is an urgent need within and between countries to unite around protecting and conserving humanity's most precious resource. In Lagos, for News Central, Bettina Nwili.
Coming up, at least 65 migrants' bodies found in Libya mass grave. We have details after the break. Join us again. The news continues in West Africa, where Senegal's presidential candidates on Friday gathered crowds of supporters for their final rallies, marking the end of a rushed campaign for what is considered an unprecedented election after weeks of political crisis. The 7 million people are eligible to vote on Sunday in the traditionally stable West African nation, set to become an oil producer, but where more than a third live in poverty and half the population are aged under 20. After the last-minute withdrawal of 2 candidates, 17 contenders remain in the race for the president, with campaigning officially due to end at midnight on Friday.
J'ai pas fait le tour du Sénégal pour faire des promesses parce que je vais en faire. J'ai fait le tour du Sénégal, oui. J'ai fait des promesses, oui. Mais il s'agit de promesses adossées à la vérité, de promesses adossées à la capacité de l'État. Nous n'avons pas besoin de responsables ayant besoin de 2 ans d'apprentissage. Le Sénégal n'en a pas besoin. Nous avons besoin de consolider nos acquis. Nous avons besoin de consolider nos acquis. Nous avons besoin d'approfondir. Nous avons besoin d'aller encore plus vite et plus loin. Parce que
peut-être 51-52% au premier tour, c'est ça mon pronostic. Parce que je pense que c'est un homme d'État. Et dans le contexte où nous nous trouvons ici, on ne peut pas nous attarder. Les populations ne doivent pas s'attarder à confier ce pays-là à quelqu'un d'autre que lui. En tout cas pour moi.
In North Africa, the International Organization for Migration says a mass grave containing the bodies of at least 65 migrants have been found in Libya. The IOM said the circumstances of their deaths and their nationalities are still unknown, but they believe they died being smuggled through the desert towards the Mediterranean. An IOM spokesperson said each report of a missing migrant or loss of life represents a grieving family searching for answers about their loved ones or acknowledging the tragedy of the loss. The Geneva-based IOM also called on Libyan authorities and other UN agencies to ensure a dignified recovery, identification, and transfer of the remains. Let's head to South Africa, where the National Assembly Speaker, Nosiviwe Mapisa Nkwakula, says throwing her in jail will be a threat to her health and life as a senior citizen. The Speaker is accused of soliciting bribes amounting to 2.3 million rand during her time as Defense Minister in 2021. In her urgent court bid to indict her arrest, Mapisa Nkwakula said her dignity and reputation is being attacked. Political parties have reacted to corruption allegations leveled against her. Democratic Alliance tabled a motion of no confidence against her, while the African National Congress said it would wait for more facts to prevail before taking action against her. Authorities say gunmen who opened fire at a Moscow concert hall killed more than 60 people and wounded over 100 while sparking an inferno, with the Islamic State group claiming responsibility. Attackers dressed in camouflage uniforms entered the building on Friday, opened fire, and threw a grenade on an incendiary bomb. A fire quickly spread through the Crocus City Concert Hall in Moscow's northern Krasnogorsk suburb as smoke filled the building, and screaming visitors rushed to emergency exits.
Первый список — это те, кто находится в госпитале, второе — это те, кто погиб или пропал без вести. Правильно? Сейчас утром начнут приходить родственники, близкие. Будут просить от нас данные тех, кого мы уже идентифицировали. Правильно?
The disruptions to global supply chains from Houthi attacks on Red Sea shipping could drive up inflation and raise the prices of essential commodities such as oil and gas, posing problems for import-dependent African countries with a large trade deficit. Now, countries like Egypt, Ghana, Ethiopia, and Nigeria are already struggling with rising prices. These attacks have prompted many of the world's largest freight companies to avoid passing through the Red Sea and Suez Canal, prompting them to reroute their ships around the Cape of Good Hope. These reroutes, caused by the global disruptions, hurt trade. It has also become a source of worry as it is impacting the shipping business in Africa.
blockage of the Suez Canal was massive because you had a lot of vessels lying there, because vessels had only two options. It's either you wait or you go the longer route through Cape of Good Hope and then coming up. So it disrupted the global supply chain. It's likely going to push up oil prices. Of course, there's going to be scarcity of commodities in some African countries.
Find out more about how this trade disruptions affects trade, supply chain, and raises worry about food crises in Africa. Watch Maritime Radar on Saturday at 7 p.m. and repeat broadcast at Sunday at 1 p.m. on News Central TV. And now to sports stories. Ghana Black Satellites beat Uganda by a lone goal to lift the 2023 African Games men's football title. Ghana's Jerry Afriye's goal was enough to secure a gold medal for the Black Satellites in the final of the competition. The first half ended goalless despite a very exciting display by both sides, with Ghana coming close to getting the opener on a number of occasions. The deadlock was broken on the 90th minute, marked with a brilliant strike from the edge of the box to seal the win for the Black Satellites. The Ghanaian team were presented with gold medals after the game, while runner-ups Uganda settled for silver. The Super Eagles of Nigeria defeated the Black Stars of Ghana 2-1 in an international friendly on Friday, played in Marrakesh, Morocco, giving the team their first win against Ghana since 2006. Rangers FCC Rhodesians, who made a comeback into the national team, gave Nigeria the lead from the penalty spot in the 38th minute as the Eagles headed into halftime with a 0-1 lead. Adebola Lookman, who replaced debutant Tinamu Benjamin in the 79th minute, wasted no time in announcing his presence, scoring the second goal in the 84th minute to put any hopes of the Black Stars' comeback. The Super Eagles will now face Mali in a friendly match on Tuesday.
Well done, guys.
And that's all on the news at this hour. But before we go, let's take a look again at some of the major stories. 2 students of Nasarawa State University killed, 23 others injured during food stampede. United Nations has said at least 65 migrant bodies have been found in Libya, mass grave. Finally, we told you that Speaker of South Africa's Parliament, who is facing graft allegation, has said jail would threaten her health and life as a senior citizen. Send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen and follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch us live on DSTV, channel 422, Star Times, channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. For watching, I am Adebola Adedugba.